Hi everybody, and welcome to Microsoft Word. Word is an electronic word processing system that allows you to create letters, reports, mail merges, envelopes, labels in a very professional way. I think the hardest thing about this program would be the typing aspect. I mean, everything else that you would do in this program that affects your text to make it look the way you want it to look and present itself in a certain way, those type of tools are very easy to execute. But I guess, probably typing is the worst. I grew up in an era where we weren't really pushed to type, and therefore we never really learned very much how to do it very well. So if you know how to type, that's more power to you. If you don't really know how to type that well, then that's about the only thing that's going to really slow you up when it comes to working with the program. Now, I want to start out with just kind of showing you the major components of the program, look at the menus, the screen itself, and kind of go from there. Okay, so towards the top of the screen here we have what is called the ribbon system. It's pretty much an advanced toolbar. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this type of design. You've probably worked with other programs, maybe even worked with this program, so you're kind of used to it. But for the most part, it's very well laid out. We have, we got the Home tab, the Insert tab, and so forth. Each of these is going to have groups of different commands that you're going to apply to your document. Now, by the time you end up watching all of the videos in this series, you're going to be exposed to most of what you see up there. So it's really kind of an interesting program in that there aren't a lot of commands. I probably shouldn't say that. We do have a lot of commands, but we don't have a lot of confusing, intricate type commands. It's pretty much, you click onto a tab along the top here, you click onto something, whatever it happens to be, click onto Home, click onto whatever. It's pretty straightforward. What you'll find, though, that there are some hidden gems as far as different features that you can apply, and those are found in these little dialog box buttons, these little arrows in the corner here. So once you click onto them, they bring up this little dialog box, and that has a lot of different features that you can apply as well. When you are working with the ribbon, you can actually kind of point up in this area. Now, right now we're on the Home tab, and we have the ribbon for all of those different commands. Now, if I just wheel my mouse down, the wheel that's on top of your mouse there, if you kind of wheel it down, it progresses you through, going to the right, each of those different tabs produce whatever ribbon. If you wheel up, it obviously goes the other direction. So that's kind of interesting. That's an easy thing to do. So you kind of point up there and you kind of just run through like that and find the command that you need. Now, if you find that this ribbon is just kind of getting in your way, it's a little distracting when you're trying to work with the program, what you can do is actually point to any one of the tabs up here, double click it, just like that, and it will collapse, and it goes into what they call auto hide. Now, in order to bring any of the items down, what you do is you kind of point to it, you click onto it, and it pulls the ribbon down, but when you're done with it, it goes right back up again. Now, if you accidentally turn that on, you wanted to get it off, you weren't quite sure what you did to make that happen, all you have to do is just do a double click on the tab again, any tab, it doesn't matter which one it is, and that will open that back up again for you. You can also click on this little upward pointing chevron, I guess. Click onto that, and that will collapse it as well. And then to bring it back, you just go ahead and just do a double click again, and there we go. Now, another thing we have up here is this little button right there. Now, when you click onto it, just like that, they have a number of different choices. Now, if you just go with the auto hide ribbon, all right, and you click onto that, I mean, everything goes away, so it leaves you even more room. A lot of people like to do this because that way they've got maximum, area here to view their document, make changes. You can still do all your typing and any keyboard shortcuts and so forth on there. But in order to get that ribbon to come back, what you do is just kind of point back up here, anywhere on that bar. you click it and it pulls it down. Then you can kind of wheel through here and try to figure out which one you want to work with here. The wheel won't work on this, by the way. I misspoke there, but you can just kind of click back and forth, and then when you're done, it goes back up again. Now, if you get tired of that, then what you can do is you can go back and you can click onto this guy right here and tell it that you want to go back to seeing your tabs and commands there. So it goes right back there. You can also go back in here and tell it that you want to just show the tabs. There you go. And that's pretty much the same thing we did when we double-clicked one of the tabs, right? Now to bring it all back, you can either go back to here and double-click it, or what you can do is just click onto here again and tell it that you want to see your tabs and commands. And we're going to leave it pulled down for the remainder of all these videos. While we're talking about the top area here, we also have this thing here called the Quick Access Toolbar. A lot of people use this primarily for the fact that it has it usually has the save on there, has your undo and has your redo. And we'll talk about those commands a little bit later on, but those are pretty powerful and popular tools that we have. But if you want to add more to that, what you would do is you'd find whatever command that you have down here. So let's just say, and you're going to learn more about these, as we go through the videos here, but let's just say that you often wanting to maybe always go to home maybe and use the little highlighter here, all right? So instead of always having to go back up here and regardless of what tab you happen to be on, you always have to go back to the home and then go and find it and click onto here. Why not have that icon also up on the Quick Access Toolbar? So all those features that you use a lot, you put up here. You're obviously not going to want to put everything up here, but just those commands that you're going to use, very frequently, that's definitely what you want to do. So in this case, in order to get it up there, all you have to do is just kind of point to it. We do a right click on it, and we just tell it to add it to the Quick Access Toolbar, and there it is up at the top. So now later on, let's say you happen to be over here on the View tab or whatever, and you want to kind of highlight, maybe this area right here. You select that, all right? And we would just go, we don't have to do anything on the ribbon. We just go directly right up to here, and we would click on to either the button face, which is going to give us yellow, all right? Or you would have gone in there and you would have maybe picked a different color there. But regardless, if I maybe go into over here, hit the little drop down arrow instead, and I can say, okay, I want to go with the turquoise instead. There we go on that. So that's pretty cool. Now, while you're in the view area, I might as well talk about this now. We might as well go ahead and turn on our ruler. And the ruler pretty much gives us a little gauge as to where we would maybe set our tabs, or just get an idea of how much space we have here to kind of work with. Getting an idea of what our margins are and stuff like that. That feature is usually turned off, so that's maybe the first thing that you maybe want to do when you get back to your own program, is to go back into view and turn that on as well. Now, obviously this is the area that you're going to be typing your document in. The type of view that we have here right now, and you can see this if you're in the View tab here, is something called the print layout. And that just means that this is the way it's going to look if it gets printed out on a piece of paper. It's almost like a print preview that maybe some of you are used to hearing about or working with. But this gives you a really good idea of what's going to fit on the first page. And if we just kind of use our little wheel here on top of the mouse, or I can wheel down here and scroll down, and I can see what's going to be on that second page as well. All right, just by doing that. But it really gives you a really good sense of how things are going to fit on your page. And later on when we go and change margins and things like that, you'll see how this all kind of shovels around. Now, towards the bottom here, we have something called the status bar. And as you can see here right now, it's telling me that I've got a total of about 7 pages, and I happen to be on the first page of 7. Now, if I click onto that, it opens up into my navigation, and I can actually go over here to Pages and actually jump to whatever page just by clicking onto that if I wanted to. So kind of an interesting thing there. The other thing we have here is a number of words. So if like you were in school, and the teacher's saying, hey, you need to write up a 500-word essay or a 1,000-word essay or whatever, here you go. You get an idea of what you've got for words. I've got about 3,978 words in here. If I click onto that, though, it tells me how many words, how many pages, how many characters with spaces, without spaces, and also how many paragraphs I have and how many lines I have. So kind of interesting, fun facts, if anything else. Now, this other tool that we have down here, when you click onto it, it's pretty much what we call the proofing tool here. And when you open it up, it gives you something like this. What's kind of interesting about the program is that it's really progressed when it comes to doing spell check and grammar check and so forth. And what this also does, this little feature here, it also has the what they call clarity and consciousness, or concise unconsciousness, conciseness, right? And it's got a check on there. If it finds areas of your document that just don't read well, it will mark them off here, and then you can kind of click onto it, and it'll jump to that area, and you can see maybe if you can maybe reword it to maybe sound a little bit better. But it's got some pretty cool stuff there. And as far as the grammar and the spelling, that usually will show up as you're typing. Okay, so to give me an idea, I'm going to just kind of close this up here. If I were to type in something like I are going to the store, okay? And actually I'll do I am going that's what I meant, to the store. Okay, so I put that in there, and that will usually pop up there. So I really don't need to run what you saw at the bottom, but at least what you'll see here, if you didn't notice it, is that there's like a little X up in there. It does say that it did find some errors. Of course, all you have to do if you're doing it like this is I can just go to this one here and say, okay, IR, what does that mean? Well, if I do a right click on that, it says maybe you want to put the word am in there, see? And with the to, it says maybe you want to use the word TO. Now, if I did it using this button down here, make that pop up there, it shows me I've got 2 grammar type errors here, so I can kind of click onto that, and I can see that on the 2, it suggests this one here. So it's pretty much, along the same lines that we have here, so I can just click onto that, and then it comes to the R, and I say, well, it's supposed to be am. All right, and then hit OK, and that's how that works. So it might be a little redundant, maybe not as efficient as just going right in there and just doing the right click to fix it, but it is what it is. This button here has to do with macros. We'll be doing that in latter videos, but for now we'll just kind of leave that one alone. Over here we've got the read mode. Now what happens with the read mode, when you click onto that, it takes you into this mode here. You can't really edit in this mode, but what you can do is with your mouse, as you read through this, just makes it easier to kind of read and get an idea of what's going on here, kind of proofread or whatever. You're not going to be able to make any edits to it. That's the problem, all right? But still, it's kind of a neat little screen there. And as you wheel your mouse, so you can either do a wheel, you can click onto here, and either way, if you just do a down wheel like I'm doing right now, it kind of goes through, page after page. If I wheel up, it goes the other way, and you're going to get the same thing with the arrows as well. Now, to get out of this mode, all you do is you go back down to the bottom, and you click on the counterpart here, which is the print layout, and that will take you back to what you see here. This next one is the web layout. When you click onto there, it gives you the layout that you'd have if you were going to put this onto a web page. There's a specific kind of a layout, format that you have to have with your web pages, and this just kind of gets you started where you can say, okay, fine, I'll stay in this mode. I'll insert pictures, I'll graphics, whatever I need to do in here, and pretty much if I go to save this as an HTML web page, then upload it to the internet, onto the server, then what you see here is what you'd end up seeing on the web page. It's kind of an outmoded thing, to be honest with you, because I think most people are using like WordPress and so forth, and you would have no need to go into this mode. You could just be in the regular mode, typing mode, select the text, copy and paste it into the WordPress and be done with it. So I wouldn't worry too much about this one. And of course, if you want to get yourself back, you would just go to the print layout, and that takes you right back in there. Now, the next thing I want to show you is the zooming. A lot of people don't use this as often as they should. You shouldn't be sitting there in front of your screen squinting as you're typing. You should want to get this document sized in such a way where you can read it well and just kind of go from there. And the way we do that is using the zoom. Now, you can either use the plus or minus here to either zoom in or zoom out on what you're working with there. You can also use a little slider here to do the same thing. And you can also, on your keyboard and mouse combination, hold down your control key and either do the down wheel on your mouse or the up wheel on your mouse. And that's all using that control key. So that's pretty cool. Now, as you zoom out further and further like this, that's what you end up getting like that. Now, obviously, this isn't very easy to read. You're not taking advantage of your screen size to maybe be able to stay in like a two-page view like this and still be able to get in there and read it and edit and so forth. So what you have to do initially with your document is if you've zoomed it like this, or even before you zoom it, if you go into the View tab, there's a choice in here called Multiple Pages. This is really important here. This used to be something that wasn't a default, or it defaulted to having this. But for some reason on the newer versions, it's gone to where you have to turn it on. But once you turn it on, it'll be fine. Now what happens is when we hit that multiple pages, then it does that, see? So now if we zoom in, see, it does that, all right? If we zoom out, it does that, see? And so you can kind of get it to whatever mode you think it would be. I might slide it just a little bit out like that, and there I go. Now I can't really see that well, but if I had a bigger screen maybe, that would be a little bit more magnified and be able to see it better. But in any event, though, you could always go out go in just a little bit more, and bingo, there you go. And then you can see it, side by side like that. And now if I zoom in a little bit more, get back there, okay. Do something like that, and there we go. So, pretty easy to do. And also, too, in the, we happen to be in the View tab as well here, you also have the zoom controls over here where I can say, okay, I want to see one page. So it zooms out to one page. Or I can say, give me 100%. And that's, pretty much as wide as you can be on your page there. Okay, so hopefully this all kind of comes in handy. I know it's not a lot of, major information here, but it's at least something to kind of get you started with. The rest of the videos are going to get very targeted into different areas of the program. By the time you get done watching all these videos, you will have been exposed to pretty much all that Word has to offer, and you're going to know how to use it. So take care. I appreciate